Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books I read in December. Hello everyone, Happy New Year. It is January 1st for me, so Happy New Year. Whenever I get this edited and out to you, then Happy New Year's to you then. Super excited for 2025. Today's video, we're going to be doing a wrap up and review of the books I read in December, which is super exciting. These are most of the books I read in December. I got a couple of them for Christmas, so that's amazing. I read 14 books in December, which is crazy because I did not think I was going to have that much time to read, but I had some time off of work for the holidays, so I had a lot of time to bake or show my projects, so I had a lot of time to listen to my audiobooks, which was perfect for me. I also got a lot of books for Christmas, which was amazing. I love getting books. And another super fun thing is I made this book sleeve for myself and I started a reading journal, which is super exciting. I love documenting my progress, so it's super fun for me, and I just got my January page spread done. So that's super exciting. You'll have to let me know if you want a video of me decorating my reading journal because I have a lot of fun with it. I finished up my last book of December last night. So I read a total of 58 books in 2024, which is crazy because if you can see here, I didn't read a lot the first half of the year, and that was because I got into quite the reading slump in January. I read 3 really sad books back to back, which made it really hard for me to want to keep reading because it was like, wow, these are all depressing and sad, so I just didn't feel like reading, so that's why it's really slow in the first part of my year, and then the last half I just read like crazy, which is awesome. So I have all of my books recorded right here that I read, so I'm going to be looking in this just for my own personal notes. The first book I read in December, finished in December, was Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I think I finished this book on December 1st, so it was technically a November read, and I was kind of bugged that I couldn't add it into my November reads because I finished it on December 1st, but that's okay. I read Iron Flame, which is the second book of the Fourth Wing series trilogy, and the third one comes out this month, which is crazy. I'm super excited. I tabbed it a little bit, which was super fun. I read the first one in October, I think, or maybe September, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I think my favorite part about these books is the dragons, honestly. And Darna and Taryn are my spirit animals, you could say. I love them, and I love like their witty banter with each other and with Violet. I love that part. I felt like this one had a lot more to do with griffins, which they kind of got into a little bit in the first book. I liked this book a lot. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in December was Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. This is definitely my favorite in the trilogy. It was amazing. I said this in my last video when I read Hunger Games. It was insane how much depth I missed in the movies by not reading the books first. So it was actually so fun for me to be able to read the books after I've watched the movies and then go back and watch the movies because I feel like it all made so much more sense. And when I watched Catching Fire, I cried like 3 times because it was just so touching, and Mags is like the sweetest ever, and I just love her. So I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. Hi, you weirdo. Hello. The next book I read was The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary, and Beth O'Leary is now one of my probably automatic buy authors. I've read 3 of hers so far, and they were all incredible. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was so cute. There was like a few plot twists. It was exes that had to be in close proximity because they were traveling to a wedding together, so it was just super fun. And there was like a lot of character growth because it talked about like why they broke up and stuff like that. So there's a lot of character growth, and I really liked that about it. And I love that it was a light read, but it wasn't boring, which is amazing. And I love Beth O'Leary, and I think I will probably buy and read all of her books because I love her books so much. The next book I read was The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and she's another one of the authors I found that I love. Her writing is amazing. I gave The Guest List 4 out of 5 stars as well. The only thing that I don't particularly love about her writing is there's a lot of, it's not like spicy, it's more just like heavy subjects that are like when you're reading it, it's heavy and they're sad, and usually there's more very mature content that is in them, which when you're listening to them, it's kind of awkward because I need to hurry and skip it, but it's like they all come out of nowhere. So that's the only reason they're not 5 out of 5 stars. The plot twists are always amazing. The Guest List was based on a remote island for this couple's wedding, and the best way to describe it is it's a bunch of rich private school kids who are now grown up, and they all hate each other, but they all hate themselves even more than they hate each other. Anyways, there was like so many plot twists and like, whoa, what the heck moments. And it was just amazing. I love Lucy Foley. It was so good. I could not have guessed the ending. It does have trigger warnings of suicide attempts, which was really sad. That's The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and I give that 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is New Moon by Stephenie Meyer, and this is the second book in the Twilight series. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. When I read Twilight, I said that I wish I would have read them in middle school because I feel like I would have enjoyed them a lot more. I did like this one more than Twilight, which was good. I will say Jacob kind of bugged me, kind of pushes himself on Bella a lot, which really frustrated me. And I think the most annoying part was when Jacob kissed Bella when she didn't want him to. And they go home to Charlie, and he was like, what happened to your hand? And Jacob was like, oh, she punched me. And he was like, why? And Jacob was like, because I kissed her and she didn't want me to. And he's like, and Charlie was like patting him on the back, like, good job. And I was like, what the heck? So I really didn't like that part. I was just annoyed that Charlie didn't back up Bella because he's her dad. So that kind of bugged me, but I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Eclipse by Stephenie Meyer, and I just realized I mixed up the books. So that whole kiss scene happened in this book. Some things I liked about this book was that you get more of a backstory on Rosalie and Emmett, which I liked. I was reading on Goodreads some of the reviews, and a lot of people were saying how weird it is that Rosalie saved Emmett because he reminded her of her best friend's son, which is a little weird if you think about it, because then they're like mates. So that's a little weird, but other than that, I liked it. I think Alice is probably my favorite character in the book. She's just very mature, where Bella is not. I give this 3 out of 5 stars. Next book I read in December was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I was shocked by this book. By the looks of it, for some reason I thought it was like a cutesy romance book between like 2 people in STEM, and I could not have been more wrong. In the first chapter, she gets sexually assaulted, called the C word twice. He gets kicked out of school. So that was literally insane. This book was way heavier than I thought it would be. I definitely expected this to be a light romance, and it was based in the early 1960s, so there wasn't a lot of women in STEM, so that's kind of why it was heavy because it's like walking through her life of trying to like pave a way for herself in chemistry. And I don't think I should think of it less because of how it was marketed, because it has nothing to do with the book. But if I knew it was like a sad, heavy book, I would have went into it knowing that and not been like so caught off guard by it. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Breaking Dawn by Stephenie Meyer, and I also gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I did not like how they build the entire book of the Volturi coming and there's going to be this huge battle, but in the book that didn't even happen. One thing I did like about the book was I actually liked the conversations about Renesmee, because everyone is just like so amazed by what Renesmee can do, which was just like so cute, and I love that part. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is the 3rd book in the Hunger Games trilogy, and this one was heavier than the first 2, because it's mostly just all about war, which obviously that's going to be heavy, so I gave this 4 to 5 stars. Since it was Christmas time, I knew I had to read some Christmas books, so I read The Christmas Train by David Baldacci. But I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I love this more than I thought I would. The main guy is a writer and he wants to go on a train ride for an article. He's on a train and then he just like meets a bunch of people on the train, and it ended up like having a lot of plot twists and second chance romance, and it was just really cute. I really like this one. I feel like you should definitely read this right before Christmas next year. I gave this book 4 to 5 stars. The next book I read was The Holly and the Ivy. It's by Sarah M. Eden, Esther Hatch, Dana Lechamont, and Annika R. Walker. And I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't realize that it was 4 short stories in one. It's probably like the 1900s in Scotland. So it's really cute. The first story is about this little boy who got pretty much fostered into this family who like celebrated Christmas for him because he didn't get to with his family, and that was really cute. And then there was one about fake marriage and like forced proximity romance, and that one was really cute. There was a Duchess and her servant that switched places, and then a duke or something and his younger brother who switched places, and then there was like a cute romance that way. And then the third one was this young girl who wanted to be married, so she went and prayed, and then she thought God was talking to her, but it was the like pastor or whatever talking to her, and she's like, I need help getting married. And anyways, then there was a cute romance in that one. But I think for me there was too many stories all like that were too short. Like I did like the Christmas cozy vibes and like the Scotland theme. I really like that. I gave that book 3 out of 5 stars. Next book I read was Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The murder mystery was amazing. It was so good, and it was a clean murder mystery, which was like my perfect book. It was so good. I love this book. I could not listen to it faster. I remember I literally took so many pages of notes on like what I thought was going on in the book, because there would be like one part of the story unfolded and then it would be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Anyways, I love this book. I think everybody should read Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Legends and Lattes by David Baldry. And I got this book for Christmas. My husband got it for me. It was so cute. I love the coffee shop vibes. This main girl, she's an orc, which is kind of crazy because in Lord of the Rings, the orcs are like terrifying and super creepy, and she's not terrifying and super creepy, so that was kind of a mental block to get over, but it's really cute. It's, if you think a Hallmark movie plot with like the out-of-towner, and there was like a bad thing that happened like 75% of the way through and then they like rebuild. It was definitely those types of vibes with the out-of-towner falling in love with the in-towner, so it was really cute. I gave this 4 to 5 stars. The next book I read in December was A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman, and I cannot speak more highly of this book and this author. His books are just fill my soul. They're so good. This book, it is based on a heavy topic. It's Uva. He lost his wife and he's been without her for a couple months or year or something. And he's like really depressed and sad. And he's pretty much, the book is about him trying to take his life because he wants to be with his wife. And then like there's just so much character growth with him and like his neighbors. And there's also a cat in this book that saves his life over and over and over, and I just love his cat. But this book was amazing. I got teary at the end because it was so cute. It ended so perfectly. I love this book. If you want a book that's going to fill your soul and has the best character growth ever and has a story that you're going to think about forever and characters that are never going to leave your mind, then this is the book for you. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in December was The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. And Hunting Party is a big group of friends who was all best friends in college, and now they're in their 30s. And they got together for New Year's Eve, which was perfect because I finished it on New Year's Eve. Somebody gets murdered, and then it's going about all of like what happened and everything. And it was like the perfect New Year's Eve read. I will say, if you spook easily, I had a hard time sleeping. It has a few very mature parts. They're not even like spicy scenes because it's like not romantic. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. But I love Lucy Foley's writing, and the way she writes mystery books is amazing. That was The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Those were all of the books I read in December. There was 14 in total, and I thought it would be kind of fun, kind of talk about my reading goals for next year because I'll talk about them on here anyways. So this year I read 58 books, and most of them were in the end of the year. And my goal for next year is I want to read 100 books, and I want to read at least 8 physical books because it's easy for me to like get moving too fast, and I like listening to audiobooks so I can like cook or clean or work on other projects or like go on a walk. And so it's super fun to be able to listen to audiobooks, but I also think it's good for me to make myself slow down and sit and read a physical book and not be doing a million things at once. So I want to read at least 8. I also want to read at least 5 different book series. And I don't know how many different book genres to put because I don't know how many I'm reading right now, but I want to have like a diverse reading palette. Yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video about the books I read in December. I hope you loved it, and I hope you all have a happy new year and an amazing 2025. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!